first looked at the market, we felt like there was an entire segment that didn't know how to use the newer technology, and we felt like we can provide that for them. What we found was there was this big segment of small to medium businesses, a lot of mom and pop shops, and also the really large segment of enterprise that only needed maybe 2 weeks of usage. We presented a product like a virtual call center. We exposed all the APIs so that people can connect to it and interface their own software with it. And we also provided a scalable hosted model so that they can have agents working from anywhere. The basis of it, and which ties into this conference, is that all of our entire system is running on open source. The user interface, everything top down is all open source stuff. And I mean, it's here to stay. I think people are developing things for a market that didn't exist before. And that's really the goal. CallFire.com wants to be an incubator of a market.
Development efforts for CallFire, and you know, we started in Asterisk probably in 2001 when it was really young, and you know, we deployed it, and like 90% of the time we get dropped calls, like horrible call quality issues. The system would crash. Like we would be in a situation where we realized, okay, you know, like we're in a situation where you either need to be intelligent enough to use open source for yourself, or you find somebody that's going to do that for you. Open source isn't necessarily free to everyone. There are very few implementations that actually worked out well when it's free. I think maybe Firefox would be an example where it's actually functional without the need for commercial support. But yeah, in the case of more complex stuff, it always ended up being, okay, here's open source. It now enables 10,000 people that can use this. They're smart enough to use this. And then out of those 10,000 people, maybe 1,000 of them can actually support it well and productize it and build a layer on top that can actually be used for commercial use. And then it becomes competitive, because then the commercial marketplace says, okay, now we have not only Asterisk, but we have these support organizations like Digium, and on top of that, you know, like Infrared, Oryx, all these people, like you're adding these values on top of the open source that are actually extremely marketable. And they solve solutions that a single company can't solve. We're talking about thousands of people being able to build something on top of open source that actually enables this market in a way that's much bigger than we ever thought before. And so I'm a big believer in open source, but I always felt like the problem is finding the people who can actually make it work. And if you're one of those people, you're in a great place. You're in an environment that's innovating all the time. It's exciting. I love it. I'm a big proponent of open source. Everything we do runs open source. We try to contribute to open source. We try to like add value to it, and we also try to enable it for a population that can't do it themselves. And that's what these guys are doing here too. And it's a great experience. It's a good place to be.
You have to understand one thing. You have nobody to yell at. That's true. But there's so much more flexibility than there was before. You're not stuck to proprietary systems. You don't have to ask your one company saying, hey, can I please have this feature, so that their next release might have it. You know, you really are in control and you're empowered. And I think that far outweighs the inability to yell at somebody. And you're really creating a community. You have a town here, you know, and you have to, if you do it right, you're drawing in the right tools, you're drawing in the right developers, you're drawing in the right.
Thanks, guys. I got to split. Sorry.
And so it's valuable, and the people building on top of it and selling it are the people you can yell at. They'll do it. Yeah.